Lin Zi stands alone against a creature that should have ended him minutes ago. In a world where civilization survives only through the taming of monstrous beasts, he is an outlier, a boy, with a system that refused to activate. But the static in his mind finally breaks, and the power he has been starving for surges through his veins. His pet, Little Snowball, is no longer the harmless, useless creature the bullies mocked. It is a weapon of ice in absolute zero, and it is ready to shatter the hierarchy that calls Lin Zi a failure. He is not just surviving the assessment, he is rewriting the terms of his own existence. The path to the Imperial Beast Academy begins with the total destruction of those who underestimated him. It all started when he woke up in a body that wasn't his own, in a city under siege by ancient, hungry monsters. In this world, humanity survives only by bonding with powerful beasts, turning the tide against the ancient, hungry monsters that once brought civilization to the brink of extinction. Taming these creatures is the only path to elite status, a rigid hierarchy where the strength of one's companion defines their worth in a society governed by the Beastmaster's law. This is Lin Zi, a student at the Junior Beast Taming School who wakes up in a body already shackled to Little Snowball, an ice crystal spirit mocked for its harmless, F-class potential. While his peers possess formidable allies, Lin Zi faces a future of mediocrity, desperate to find a way to evolve his weak companion before his lack of power seals his fate. Everything shifts when his latent system finally awakens, granting him the ability to force evolution and climb the ranks of a world that deems him nothing more than trash. With the Apprentice Beastmaster qualification assessment looming, he resolves to gamble everything on the most difficult challenge to secure his place at the Imperial Beast Academy. Lin Zi calls on his spirit, beginning his journey to conquer the Beastmaster hierarchy. At the Junior Beast Taming School, students prepare for the upcoming Beastmaster Qualification Assessment, a high-stakes event where only those who successfully contract and evolve a beast can secure a place in the elite class. Anxiety ripples through the classroom as students fret over the exam's 80% elimination rate, while Lin Zi worries that his failure to progress will doom him to an ordinary life. Lin Zi reflects on his recent arrival in this world, where humanity survives only by taming ferocious beasts that emerge from dimensional rifts during a past catastrophe. In this era, Beastmasters hold immense social status. As the higher they climb, the more power they command and the more they see of the world's true potential. Lin Zi feels trapped because his body's only companion, Little Snowball, is a powerless F-class pet deemed incapable of evolution, leaving him with no path to advance. Bullies mock Lin Zi for his mediocrity, suggesting he should simply sell ice cream to survive, as he lacks the strength to become an elite Beastmaster. Suddenly, a system activates, confirming that his golden finger has finally arrived to offer a hidden evolution route. Lin Zi accesses his status window, discovering that Little Snowball can reach 100% growth to trigger a transformation, provided he gathers the right materials. He discovers a secret queen root, which could allow Little Snowball to evolve into an ice crystal spirit and eventually reach the king rank. This hidden potential changes everything, as he now has a concrete path to evolve his pet and break free from his ordinary status. Lin Zi collects an achievement reward from the system, gaining 100 points and a spirit crystal to begin his pet's upgrade. He channels his points into Little Snowball, successfully triggering a level up that serves as the first step toward the creature's evolution. Despite his excitement, Lin Zi notes that the display was brief and remains frustrated by the creature's current F-class limitations. He calculates that he must now acquire 20 ice element essences and 1 spirit jade to complete the evolution, forcing him to find a way to earn money quickly. When bullies approach to taunt him again, Lin Zi ignores them, focusing instead on the upcoming qualification assessment that will determine his future. Jiang Hao bristles with rage at the silent defiance, yet Lin Zi suppresses his own temper, knowing the Jiang family holds power he cannot yet challenge. Standing his ground, he demands to know why Jiang Hao dares to label him trash. He challenges his rival to settle the score at the upcoming Beastmaster final exam. Jiang Hao spits in disdain, mocking the F-class pet and warning Lin Zi that skipping the assessment is the only way to avoid public humiliation. A voice cuts through the tension as Guanning warns Jiang Hao not to cross the line. He sneers at her, while surrounding students whisper that she should align herself with someone of his superior status instead. Ignoring the provocation, Lin Zi tells Guanning to brush off the insults, radiating a quiet confidence that his true potential will soon be undeniable. Trusting his foresight, she agrees to head home alone, leaving him free to visit the pet store. His savings vanish instantly upon purchasing the necessary materials, but a crisp system notification confirms his reward, the acquisition of the Sovereign's Present skill. Before they part ways, Guanning invites him to dinner to discuss their shared goals for the qualification assessment. Lin Zhe reassures her that he has the situation with Zhang Hao under control. Returning to Little Snowball, he stares at the costly ice element essences and spirit jade. He feeds the rare items to his companion, fully aware that this risky investment is his only ladder to the top of the hierarchy. Magical ice energy surges through the room as Little Snowball undergoes a radical shift. The evolution holds, and the creature emerges as a snow maiden, successfully meeting the growth conditions of the hidden path. Lin Zhe activates his power to assess the change, realizing his pet has reached rank 2, stage 2. He notes with satisfaction that this strength far surpasses his peers, who still rely on basic rank 1 beasts. The Snow Maiden's cold and his system points confirm that betting on the system was the right choice. With the Snow Maiden now by his side, he extracts a spirit crystal and a strength crystal, consuming the latter to bolster his own physical fitness as a vital requirement for any rising beastmaster. Focusing intently, he channels his magical energy and prepares for the upcoming trials, driven by a silent vow to protect those who rely on him. The system confirms a surge in his physique and spirit, granting him newfound power that allows him to crush stone walls with ease, significantly improving his survival odds. He commits all remaining achievement points to the pet, pushing the Snow Maiden to rank 2, stage 4, while keeping his focus fixed on the imminent association evaluation. Steeling his resolve, he prepares to shock his peers at the assessment and eventually track down the person responsible for his parents' deaths. As he and Guanning walk toward the assessment site, she notes his uncharacteristic intensity, to which he simply replies that people inevitably change. Bystanders gossip about her popularity and her recent rejection of Zhou Hong, completely unaware that the boy walking beside her is her protective cousin. Reaffirming his plan to use his evolved pet for the test, he excitedly suggests a celebration for their success, only to be suddenly cut short. A hostile girl steps into their path, accusing Guanning of stealing Zhou Hong, but Lin Zhe dismisses the claim, bluntly stating that his cousin has no interest in such a person. When the girl refuses to let them pass and resorts to threats, he steps forward to shield his cousin, unleashing a concentrated blast of energy that leaves the aggressor stunned. The pink-haired antagonist watches in stunned silence as the blonde girl screams at her associate to stop hesitating, insisting that their target is far too pathetic to be worth his time. The man in the vest squares up for combat, only to have his opponent mock his hero complex, sneering that he should be more concerned with his own survival. Lin Zhe stares back with cold intensity before closing the distance, landing a precise kick and a decisive punch that ripples through the air with the force of a shockwave. The blonde girl cries out as the impact rocks the street. Yet Lin Zhe remains unyielding, stepping forward to shield his cousin and reminding her that he is her protector. Physical power surges through Lin Zhe's veins, leaving the girl wide-eyed at his newfound combat prowess as he shrouds his limbs in flickering blue energy. The blonde antagonist grins, warning Lin Zhe that he has invited his own destruction as he prepares to strike with a hand wreathed in violent energy. A ghost wolf appears and Lin Zhe identifies the rank 2 beast as a threat he must overcome, taunting them as mere high schoolers. The opponent flaunts his rank 2 beast, unaware that Lin Zhe is bracing for a fight despite fearing his own pet is outmatched. Guanning prepares to unleash her own magic, but she freezes in shock when she sees Lin Zhe calling forth Little Snowball, terrified of the potential fallout. Ignoring the frantic warnings about his upcoming assessment, Lin Zhe orders her to stand back, even as the blonde girl continues to howl for her brother to crush them. The antagonist grins and yells for a fight, ordering his ghost wolf to attack. Lin Zhe releases his energy and commands his pet to intercept the charge. Little Snowball retaliates with a freezing strike while Lin Zhe triggers the extreme cold domain, sending jagged icy shards erupting across the battlefield. Smoke clears to reveal the wolf, leaving the spectators shocked that the pet they mocked is this powerful. Lin Zhe reveals that Little Snowball has evolved into an ice crystal spirit, and he commands his companion to deliver the final blow. The defeated aggressor reels as Lin Zhe exposes that the Vice Guildmaster orchestrated this ambush. Disbelief washes over the antagonist when his strike shatters against the Snow Maiden, despite his taunts about Lin Zhe being a mere student with a weak pet. Recognizing the threat of the enemy's rank 2 beast, Lin Zhe cuts off their retreat and forces them to confront the consequences of their arrogance. Razor-sharp icicles carpet the ground under the Snow Maiden's command, forcing the bullies to grovel for mercy as Lin Zhe exerts his control. While the man attempts to apologize to his associate, Lin Zhe demands he instead face Guanning and admit his wrongdoing. The bully turns to beg Guanning for forgiveness and vows to punish Zhou Hong, only for his associate to strike him for such cowardice, throwing the scene into chaos. Ignoring the spectacle, Lindsay turns his back on them to focus on the Snow Maiden, ensuring her growth remains his priority. Guanning praises his victory over the Ghost Wolf, prompting Lindsay to contemplate the creature's potential for further evolution in a world that demands constant strength. With no time to waste, they hurry toward the Imperial Beast Association to reach the qualification exam in time. Upon arriving, Lindsay studies the Origin Stone, fully aware that passing this trial is the only way to earn a spot at the Imperial Beast Academy. A proctor welcomes the candidates, handing out medals assigned by difficulty level that act as keys to the Origin Stone realm. The instructor notes that the chosen difficulty determines the rewards, offering everything from significant stat boosts to the chance to unlock a second pet slot. Anxiety ripples through the trembling students, prompting Guanning to ask Lindsay which path he intends to take to climb the hierarchy. Urging the candidates to choose wisely, the proctor warns that their selection is the final factor in securing their future development. The registration lists reveal that only one candidate has dared to select the superior difficulty, sparking a wave of mockery from those who view the choice as reckless. Ignoring the jeers, Lindsay confirms his selection for the elite path, knowing he must demonstrate his true potential to ascend the Beastmaster hierarchy. He channels his energy with grim focus, acutely aware that failing this assessment will bar him from the Imperial Beast Academy for the entire year. Guanning watches in disbelief as he finalizes his decision, her voice tight with warning regarding the absolute consequences of such a high-stakes gamble. Reassuring her with a calm nod, Lindsay remains undeterred even as the surrounding crowd openly questions his sanity for choosing the most dangerous route. He stands firm against the rising tide of skepticism, declaring that this choice is a calculated move rather than a desperate mistake. When a bystander challenges his chances of survival, Lindsay meets the man's gaze with an unwavering, quiet confidence. They dismiss his resolve as mere youthful folly, warning him that he is playing with fire, yet he remains completely unmoved by their taunts. Tension thickens as the examiner signals the start of the assessment, plunging the gathered candidates into an expectant, heavy silence. Lindsay releases his power, trapping the participants in individual barriers within the void. While the examiner tracks his progress on the monitors, Lindsay finds himself transported into the heart of the virtual Origin Stone realm. A system notification clarifies that injuries sustained within the simulation are not permanent, allowing him to push his limits without fear of lasting harm. He immediately claims an achievement reward for his previous victory, securing a cache of points and a spirit crystal to bolster his capabilities. Consuming the items, he watches his spirit attribute climb from 1.8 to 2.8, a surge that noticeably heightens his overall combat strength. Simultaneously, his companion's growth spikes to 44%. Pushing its development to stage 6 and providing the edge necessary to navigate the superior difficulty. As the path ahead clears, he and his pet immediately come face to face with a rank 1, stage 7 flame lizard blocking the way. The creature prepares to lunge, forcing Lindsay to engage in an immediate high-stakes battle for survival. Lindsay wonders why this superior difficulty trial feels so manageable. Just as the flame lizard erupts in a torrent of searing heat, he immediately commands Little Snowball to cast Icicle, pinning the lizard to the ground with jagged shards of magical frost. The spirit follows up by generating a thick, obscuring mist, culminating in a violent icy explosion that secures his victory. Confident in his pet's overwhelming power, Lindsay breezes through the first floor and readies himself for the next stage. A rank 1 stage 9 undead bandage monster lunges from the shadows at the dungeon entrance, looking to halt his momentum. While this monstrosity would intimidate most students, it proves trivial for the duo, who quickly encase the creature in a block of solid ice. Ignoring the voice mocking his strategy, Lindsay prepares to face the beast. A rank 2 stage 2 blight beast crashes into the arena, its spiky limbs radiating a lethal, corrupted aura. Watching from the observation deck, onlookers dismiss his chances, convinced the beast's superior rank will force his failure. The blight beast lunges forward, its hardened bark armor shrugging off the icicles before it ensnares the small spirit in a withered entanglement. High above, a mysterious figure descends toward the observation area, laughing as they plot from the darkness. An older student sneers at the freshman's meager tactics, but Lindsay silences the criticism by triggering the extreme cold domain. Proving he has more than one trick, he manipulates the temperature to erupt crystalline spikes that impale and shatter the blight beast. With the monster defeated, Lindsay declares the third level done as they stand before the ice barrier. Only 2 stages remain, but a shadow looms as a mysterious figure vows to end Lindsay's life before the challenge concludes. Outside the arena, candidates watch in shock as a man collapses in despair, sobbing over his failure to clear the 5th level of the entry-level challenge. He laments that a mere rank 1 stage 6 beast proved too powerful for him, even as nearby peers celebrate their successful qualification as apprentice beastmasters. Tension spikes among the onlookers when the next simulated threat manifests, a vicious claw beast whose lethal presence halts the progress of those watching. Panic erupts in the crowd at the sight of this rank 2 predator, with many questioning how any student reckless enough to choose the superior difficulty could possibly survive. Meanwhile, Lin Zi successfully clears the 4th level, and as the final stage initializes, he remains cocooned within his defensive ice maneuvers. He and his companion arrive at the final arena, leaving the spectators stunned by his overwhelming power and the mystery of his identity, as he remains unrecognized by the local schools. Hua Xinyi cheers for her own successful qualification, though her focus quickly shifts as she anxiously demands updates on Lin Zi's status in the trial. A rank 2 saber-toothed lion blocks his path, but Lin Zi stays calm and tells his pet he will handle it. Observers tremble at the impossible matchup, insisting a newcomer cannot hope to win. But he ignores their pressure, indifferent to the broader succession struggle playing out in the shadows. Lin Zi orders the ice crystal spirit to fire, though the lion's speed catches him off guard. The beast lunges with a ferocious claw strike, forcing the spirit to scramble behind a hastily constructed prison of ice for protection. As the creature's armor begins to fracture under the sustained pressure, he prepares to bait the monster to see if it holds any remaining tricks. Victory requires more than raw stage rank. He knows he must account for elemental attributes, current conditions, and the limitations of the arena. He quickly calculates that his partner is nearing exhaustion after 4 consecutive battles, making this a desperate fight against a superior foe. Sensing its own vulnerability, the lion waits for a lapse in his defense, while he readies his final, decisive maneuver. With a sharp, calculated gaze, he identifies a critical opening and commands the spirit to execute a finishing icicle strike. The saber-toothed lion collapses, finally brought down by the surgical precision of the ice attack. Gasps ripple through the arena as the portal display falters, leaving the crowd struggling to reconcile the impossible tie. Onlookers realize that for such a stalemate to occur, his pet must have surged to at least rank 2 stage 5 to match the lion's ferocity. A man with a goatee sneers from the sidelines, accusing the boy of relying on underhanded tricks, yet Lin Zi remains icy and detached. Little Snowball coils with energy, radiating a brilliant blue glow as its master prepares to force the battle to its breaking point. Noticing the lion's natural resistance to the sub-zero temperatures, Lin Zi finds himself momentarily pinned by the beast's overwhelming physical pressure. Recognizing the urgent need for a precise, single-target binding technique, he quickly navigates the system to select the Arctic Chain skill. He spends 50 achievement points to instantly manifest the ability, banking on this new maneuver to shift the momentum in his favor. Simultaneously, he forces a level up for the Ice Crystal Spirit, driving its growth to 54% to unlock its latent combat potential. Murmurs of confusion spread through the student body, as they fail to fathom how he is empowering his companion without any visible resources. Lin Zi beckons his opponent to come, then orders his team to test out the Arctic Chains. As the beast breaks the ice, the team shouts that now is the time to strike with an icicle. The crowd erupts into a frenzy of disbelief, unable to comprehend how a single pet could possibly wield 3 distinct elemental skills. With the lion finally subdued, he stands before the final freezing barrier, ready to claim the ultimate completion of the challenge. Though the saber-toothed lion shakes off the frost with a menacing grin, it remains trapped in the relentless cycle of Lin Zi's assault. With a final shattering strike that freezes the beast solid, the system pings to confirm Lin Zi has conquered the superior difficulty assessment. Guanning cheers wildly, though her joy is drowned out by a chorus of outraged onlookers who suspect Lin Zi of bribing the examiner to achieve such an impossible feat. The examiner watches the display with keen interest, noting that this previously unknown candidate has become an overnight sensation. Buoyed by his success, Lin Zi checks his status to find he has unlocked the ability to contract a second pet, prompting him to plan a visit to the local pet shop. A new system quest appears, tasking him with officially registering as an apprentice beastmaster, and he resolves to use this momentum to expose the true motives of his rivals. Crowds of students swarm him, desperate to uncover the secrets behind his rare ice-tight companion and his sudden, meteoric rise in power. Guanning pushes through the throng to hug him from behind, her face beaming with pride at his hard-won victory. A red entity flickers within his aura as he clutches the orb, hiding his secret power. He genuine steps forward to offer a humble apology, admitting his earlier skepticism was misplaced now that Lin Zi's strength has proven undeniable. The examiner extends an invitation for the boy to join the Beast Tamers Association as a reserve officer, dangling the promise of elite benefits and a future deacon title. While the surrounding crowd murmurs that he should jump at such a life-changing opportunity, Lindsay hesitates, wary of the strings attached to such an early commitment. He politely declines the offer, stating that he prefers to chart his own course after graduation, rather than settling for a path that lacks total freedom. Although another participant eagerly tries to snatch the rejected spot, He Jianwen merely nods, respecting the boy's autonomy and sensing his potential for even greater heights. The examiner tells him the door remains open should he ever change his mind, and Lindsay finally recognizes the man's true identity. Guanning takes his hand and leads him across the courtyard to introduce him to her classmates, Lu Xian and Zhang Xiaoyun. The two girls immediately clamor for his contact information, clearly hoping to secure a place in his orbit as his reputation continues to climb. Ignoring the sudden swarm of admirers, Lindsay brushes past the crowd, his focus fixed on the pressing tasks that await him and his companion. A direct notification pulls him away toward the faculty offices, where he appears at his teacher's doorway, catching her off guard. She confirms his success in the superior difficulty trial, revealing that an influential instructor has taken a keen interest in his recent performance. Breaking professional decorum, she pulls him into an aggressive hug, teasing him about the days when his failing grades and her strict warnings were the norm. She hands him a collection of fundamental spirit techniques, insisting he master the curriculum immediately as it is now a mandatory requirement for any apprentice. These skills, she explains, grant a beastmaster the combat independence to defend themselves if their pet is ever incapacitated or separated from them. Expressing his gratitude, he rushes home to begin his training, bolstered by her promise to provide further guidance whenever he hits a wall. Safe in his room, he opens the manual for the Spirit Guardian's skill, intent on layering his defenses before his official enrollment at the academy. Meditation begins in earnest, and within 10 minutes, the intricate flow of the technique clicks into place. His spirit constitution of 7.8 facilitates this rapid learning, prompting him to dump his remaining system points into further augmenting the new ability. With a cold, unshakable resolve, he channels his energy to solidify his foundation for the trials to come. He burns through 100 achievement points, pushing his Spirit Guardian technique to level 3. Watching the shield expand into a barrier capable of protecting others, he feels satisfied enough to consume a Spirit Stone reward to further boost his potential. This influx of power spikes his spirit level to 8.8 and brings his total spirit energy to a staggering 880. Determined to broaden his tactical options, he dives into the manuals for the Spirit Arrow and Spirit Impact defensive techniques. Night falls as he concentrates his energy, his focus sharpening until a faint, potent glow emanates from his eyes. He lunges forward, spending 10 spirit power to unleash a precise projectile and test the accuracy of his new ability. A surge of yellow energy erupts as he consumes 30 points of spirit power to trigger a powerful, ground-shaking impact. Though he questions the true extent of his new power, the system grants him a spirit-replenishing potion, which he tucks away for a critical moment. He spends 100 achievement points to upgrade both Spirit Arrow and Spirit Impact to level 2, sharpening his combat edge. Saving his remaining points for a second pet, he heads to the mission center to secure funds for his next companion. Observing the crowd with newfound confidence, he selects the highest reward quest, the expulsion of Death Toll beetles at Death Toll Canyon. The system mandates a team for his safety, a requirement that irritates him as he prefers to handle the mission alone. Upon reaching the canyon, his assigned teammates, Zhang Lei, Zhao Mingshan, and Wang Shuiyun greet him with mockery, dismissing him as an ungraduated rookie. Lindsay politely agrees to follow their lead, despite Mingshan warning the group that their rewards hinge entirely on their performance. Privately dismissing his teammates as unrefined, he pushes forward into the dark cave, intent on earning his pay through hard work. They stand over a swirling abyss as a swarm of glowing insectoid creatures emerges from the shadows to confront them. Zhao Mingshan orders the group to plug the hole, summoning a Rank 2 Stage 5 horned rhinoceros, while Zhang Lei reveals a Rank 2 Stage 6 windcutter mantis to prepare for the fight. Lindsay readies his own companion as a Rank 2 Stage 5 fear wasp emerges from the hive to challenge their advance. The cavern grows chaotic as the swarm erupts from the darkness, overwhelming their defensive line. Zhang Lei's windcutter mantis initiates a reckless charge, though it carelessly disregards the smaller beetles as insignificant annoyances. Boasting of his superior skill, Zhao Mingshan commands his beast to unleash a powerful scythe slash, carving a path through the dense insect tide. The mantis leaps into the fray, locking blades with the creatures in a mid-air skirmish. While Wang Shuiyun warns against such rash aggression, the fear wasp retaliates by launching a deadly volley of poison needles into the center of the chaos. As the mantis and beetles continue their violent clash, the cavern floor begins to litter with the broken bodies of the fallen swarm. Zhao Mingshan mocks Lin Zhe for his silence, telling the rookie to simply stay back and watch his impressive performance. Amidst the tension, the muscular Zhao Mingshan demands his cut of the tuition, while Wang Shuiyun insists she will distribute the resources if the men follow her lead. Unimpressed by the spectacle, Lin Zhe watches with amber eyes, noting that their flashy techniques are failing to stem the relentless tide. A sudden piercing shriek reverberates through the cave, leaving Wang Shuiyun visibly startled and confused by the unnatural sound. Shadowy figures loom from the depths, and a concentrated energy blast impacts the swarm, forcing the entire group to brace for a desperate struggle. Lin Zhe notes the different horns, asking if a death toll beetle king hides inside. The swarm begins to feed voraciously, turning on the smaller green insects as their numbers overwhelm the entire cavern floor. Panic erupts as the men scream for their beasts to retreat, realizing they are on the verge of being slaughtered by the encroaching horde. Stepping forward, Lin Zhe asserts control, explaining that the beetles' high-frequency shrieks have paralyzed their pets, rendering them unable to follow commands. Terror grips the team as they realize their connection to their beasts is severed, leaving them completely defenseless against the onslaught. Enraged by the disaster, Zhao Mingshan grounds his companion, blaming his partner's sarcastic attitude for their failure to predict the trap. Lin Zhe warns the group to prioritize their own survival as the swarm crawls closer. Realizing this mission has spiraled into a death trap, the man with the goatee screams in terror, ordering everyone to flee for their lives. As the panic reaches a fever pitch, Lin Zhe quickly manifests a protective blue barrier to shield himself and the trembling group from the encroaching swarm. Watching from a tactical vantage point, one of his teammates stares in disbelief, struggling to comprehend how a mere high school student could command such advanced Imperial Beast Academy techniques. Lin Zhe keeps his focus locked on the horde, telling the terrified man to watch closely as he prepares to shift the tide of the battle. He summons the Ice Crystal Spirit, ordering it to unleash a surge of freezing energy. Analyzing the swarm, he recognizes that while the beetles lack coordinated area of effect tactics, their overwhelming numbers remain a lethal threat to the group. Lin Zhe offers a confident smile, revealing that his rank 3 spirit possesses the precise wide-range power required to neutralize the entire nest. The Ice Crystal Spirit manifests an expansive ice domain, instantly erecting a jagged, crystalline structure that tears through the swirling insect clouds. He orders the others to retract their pets immediately, warning them that their survival depends on retreating now, even if it means forfeiting their entire mission reward. Realizing their lives are at stake, the survivors quickly agree to surrender all potential earnings to him in exchange for the safety of their beasts. One man, still clinging to his arrogance, rages against the threat and mockingly asks if the boy truly believes he is the legendary Lin Zhe who conquered the superior difficulty trial. Lin Zhe confirms his identity, prompting the woman to abandon her skepticism and beg him to save their pets. Her teammate immediately strikes the defiant man, finally understanding that their own ignorance had blinded them to Lin Zhe's true superiority. As the surrounding ice begins to crack and thaw, he urges them to flee for the surface before the paralyzed insects regain their senses. Lin Zhe weighs the lingering danger, disregarding the woman's panicked warning that these creatures are meant to be controlled rather than destroyed. Determined to end the threat, he shocks the group by diving deeper into the abyss, intent on hunting the king of the swarm himself. Descending into the dark, he realizes that his enhanced physical stats now allow him to perceive the environment with perfect clarity, even in the absolute absence of light. Eyes ignite in the shadows as a metallic insectoid emerges to confront him. The creature lunges, forcing him to trigger a spirit barrier to deflect a blow. Lin Zhe counters by launching himself into the fray, his movements punctuated by a violent explosion of blue energy as he strikes back at the heart of the swarm. He activates his spirit guardian to deflect the insectoids, though their mandibles gnaw at his barrier. Realizing he cannot hold the line indefinitely, he checks his remaining 150 achievement points, seeking to unlock more potent techniques to turn the tide. Little Snowball exclaims he learned everything, mastering Ice Shield and Frost Nova to pair with Arctic Domain. He summons the Ice Crystal Spirit once more, layering his Spirit Guardian with the creature's ambient ice elements to fortify their position. The spirit triggers a Frost Nova, shattering the floor and obliterating the swarm. This explosive display wipes out 50 death toll beetles, pushing the spirit's growth to 89% and elevating her to rank 3 stage 2. Though he considers grinding further to trigger her next evolution, a bone-chilling roar erupting from the depths signals the arrival of the Beetle King. Lin Zhe stands his ground, his confidence bolstered by his recent gains, and commands his companion to brace for the final confrontation. Above, the survivors argue over the mission's intensity, with the woman voicing terror for his life while her companion continues to dismiss him as a fool courting death. Near the target point, a man attempts to warn him against proceeding, but his voice dies in his throat as he spots the bronze Beastmaster badge pinned to the youth's chest. Luo Da, a bronze Beastmaster, strides forward to take charge, prompting Wang Shuiyun to eagerly request a spot on his team. He tells the girl she can follow but dismisses the men because they lack the qualifications to join him. Amidst the tension, a system notification pulses for the Beast Slayer achievement, rewarding Lin Zi with an explosive seed card capable of temporarily boosting a pet by 1 rank. He glances at his status window, observing that his Ice Crystal Spirit has climbed to rank 3, stage 3, with its growth nearing 94%. A rhythmic thudding vibrates through the cave as a large entity emerges from the darkness. Lin Zi stares at the insectoid and realizes the recent swarm crisis forced this evolution. The system identifies the threat as a rank 4, stage 1 death toll striker, the swarm's commander. Refusing to back down, he steels himself for the confrontation, determined to secure the mission rewards necessary to fund his next round of evolutions. He darts through the cavern to evade the creature's initial assault. Coming face to face with Luo Da once more, Lin Zi warns him to fall back immediately, insisting the situation has spiraled into a lethal threat. He identifies the striker as the swarm's mastermind and demands the right to face the boss alone, intent on claiming full credit for the mission. Luo Da scoffs at the apprentice, his voice dripping with arrogance as he questions if Lin Zi truly understands the magnitude of the opponent he is challenging. The system highlights a rank 3, stage 9 giant rock monster behind him, but Lin Zi remains composed. A warning spirit flickers in his mind while Luo Da mocks him, claiming that a superior difficulty trial certificate is meaningless against the weight of real combat experience. Their bickering is abruptly cut short as the Death Toll Striker lunges forward, forcing the entire group to scramble for survival. Seeing his chance to display the hierarchy of power, Luo Da activates a high-level spirit technique designed to push his rock monster beyond its limits. Lin Zi watches the monster reach rank 4, stage 2, and slam the ground to trigger Rock Arm Earthquake. The striker collapses, proving that mastering advanced techniques defines an elite beastmaster. Luo Da sneers at the carnage, confident that his brute force has effectively rendered Lin Zi's previous efforts obsolete. Suddenly, a sharp hiss cuts through the cavern as the Death Toll Striker lunges from the shadows, its horn piercing the gloom with lethal intent. Lin Zi calls upon his hidden inner entity, channeling raw power to stand his ground against the monster's menacing advance. The system flashes a frantic alert. The striker has surged into a berserk rank 4 state, its overwhelming aura pushing Lin Zi to his absolute limit. He lunges to strike the spirit entity while dodging the creature's mechanical assault. The monster lunges to attack while the target is distracted, shouting "I'm here" as it prepares a strike. Lin Zi reacts instantly, casting Arctic chains to bind the beast as he pours his internal energy into a desperate final stand. Declaring that the playing field is now leveled, he watches as his stone construct slams its fist while the striker shatters the earth with its tail. As the stone creature crumbles into broken fragments, a terrified woman screams for the others to retreat before they are slaughtered. Luo Da hesitates, momentarily impressed by Lin Zi's resilience, but the boy defiantly refuses to flee, shocking the man with his reckless tenacity. Lin Zi stands tall, taunting his opponent by questioning whether those flashy advanced enhancement techniques are truly enough to finish him. He crushes an explosive seed card, surging with power and leaving Luo Da stunned as he realizes Lin Zi is capable of enhancing spirit techniques too. The creature flares with its own dark strengthening ability, sending a wave of panic through the onlookers as the cave trembles under the intensity. Lin Zi accepts the challenge, boasting that his spirit techniques make 1 minute enough to win. He weaves Arctic chains to keep the beast restrained, noting that while his Ice Crystal Spirit is at its peak, he can only hold the lock for a few seconds. Lin Zi lets loose a barrage of energy projectiles, finishing with a spirit impact punch that triggers a deafening explosion. His companion warns that overdrawing power will kill him, but Lin Zi reassures him that he has half his power left. Watching the display, the stunned observers realize that this young genius might actually have the strength to slay the Death Toll Striker. The monster retaliates by firing a searing beam of light, but Lin Zi counters the lethal blast with a perfectly timed Frost Nova. The Frost Nova detonates to shatter the monster's defenses. He watches in disbelief as the creature retaliates with a display of raw power unlike anything he has faced before. 4 spectral entities manifest within the cosmic void, forcing him to channel his remaining strength for a final, desperate strike. Condensing his freezing aura into a crystalline blade, he summons a menacing spirit to deliver the finishing blow. he taunts the beast, asking if it still wants to run as his blade tears through its armor. A system notification confirms the death toll striker is defeated, leaving his teammates paralyzed by the scale of his achievement. As the explosive seed effect wanes, he commends the ice crystal spirit, noting that its growth has hit 100%, finally ready for evolution. System rewards flood in, granting him the achievement points and rare materials needed to secure his future. Luo Da steps forward to negotiate, attempting to trade for the credit of the boss kill. Calculating the value of the offer, he agrees to hand over the mission completion for 10W, viewing it as a strategic gain. The two strike a deal for a future favor, an intangible asset he values far more than the immediate payout. Funds appear on his phone, though a sudden cryptic system notification breaks his focus, leaving him momentarily perplexed. A large bird-like creature emerges from the cave, and a subordinate identifies the blue-haired man as Lord He. Luo Da pales, watching in silence as the young man greets the high-ranking official with casual familiarity. Genwen confirms the mission is cleared, his gaze lingering on the pair as he silently questions how an apprentice managed to fell a rank 4 beast. After the examiner apologizes for the association's error in grading the mission's danger, he accepts the gesture with a respectful nod. He Zhenwen offers 10W yuan for the mission, explaining the association needs the body for research, leaving the onlookers stunned by the payout. Accepting the funds, Lin Ze reasons that refusing would signal hostility and invite unnecessary danger, knowing the association is merely investing in his potential now that he has proven his worth. Just as he prepares to depart, he stops cold upon discovering a mysterious, bloodied figure hidden nearby. The stranger clutches a large rock and urges him to leave immediately, leaving Lin Ze stunned by the grim encounter. Luo Da soon catches up to congratulate him, noting that Lin Ze has walked away with 20W yuan and a favor from the association, and after promising to return the kindness, he departs while the crowd continues to marvel at the boy's performance. Reflecting on his journey, he realizes that the higher he climbs the hierarchy, the more of the world's true potential he can witness. So he heads straight to a pet shop with his 20W yuan to secure a second companion. A clerk greets him and guides him through the aisles, though he quickly observes that a standard shop only stocks creatures up to B grade. While inspecting a flame imp, he identifies a hidden evolution route but ultimately dismisses it because it lacks the king grade potential he demands for his team. The clerk tries to push the creature for 16W yuan, including the necessary materials, yet he remains skeptical, knowing from his own experience that official ratings are often fundamentally flawed. Everything changes when his system alerts him to a hidden king-grade path nearby, leading him to a small, gray stone monster that feels strangely familiar. Recognizing it as the same species as Luo Da's pet, he notes that while the world overlooks its divine potential, he sees the perfect warrior to complement his mage-like ice crystal spirit. When the clerk offers the creature for 8W yuan, he agrees, though she openly questions why he would waste expensive evolution materials on a lowly D-grade pet. Playing off the purchase as a simple gift, he winces internally at the steep price of the required reagents but completes the transaction, eager to unlock the creature's true form. Finally, he channels his energy to forge a contract with the stone monster, successfully securing his second pet and watching his system tally up the new achievement points. Summoning his new rock ghost, Lin Ze prepares to boost its growth to 100%, driven by the knowledge that maximizing potential is the only way to climb the Beastmaster hierarchy. He spends 220 achievement points to push the creature to rank 2, stage 2. Though the beast looks simple, Lin Ze knows it hides a rare evolutionary path, so he offers it the necessary materials to trigger its transformation. The rock ghost stubbornly shakes its head and refuses the expensive powder, leaving him frustrated by its picky appetite. Noticing the creature remains agitated, he watches as it suddenly manifests before a startled girl while he continues to test his control. Lin Ze checks the pet's recovery before it strikes with a powerful blast, an act that immediately draws the sharp attention of his ice crystal spirit. The rock ghost cries out in distress, leaving him stunned by the volatile temperament of his new companion. While the ice crystal spirit watches warily, Lin Ze channels his energy, only to see the rock ghost begin to vomit smoke and appear physically ill. As the system confirms the growth rate has finally hit 100%, he radiates a surge of dark red energy to demonstrate his newfound command. He examines the creature's status window, noting it requires high-grade earth elemental essence to reach its next form, the earth spirit. Wondering if Luo Da ever realized the true potential hidden within this beast, Lin Ze is caught off guard when it suddenly hisses and lunges. The armored rock ghost slams into the ground, triggering earth spikes as it confronts the ice crystal spirit in a fierce display of raw strength. The fighters trade blows with such force that the demonic entity watches in shock. Lindsay scolds the rock ghost for damaging the wall during the clash, warning that he will enforce his authority if it continues to disobey. Seeing the ice crystal spirit ready for the next step, he consumes 10 advanced evolution materials to force its growth. A creature appears amidst a freezing storm, shocking the nearby witnesses as it transforms into a monster. The evolution succeeds, and the creature emerges as a snow maiden at rank 4 stage 1. The group realizes their skills have been upgraded. Lindsay commands his snow maiden to use ice shower to subdue his new pet. The rock ghost roars in agony and kneels before the snow maiden, completely overwhelmed by her display of raw power. Asserting his authority, Lindsay warns the creature that he will not hesitate to end its existence if it refuses to overcome its volatile nature. Trembling, the creature begs for mercy, and Lindsay acknowledges its newfound submission with a firm nod of approval. The beast vows that such a humiliating defeat will never happen again, finally accepting its place under his command. A loud, insistent knocking soon interrupts this progress, and Lindsay opens his door to find a muscular neighbor fuming about the structural damage to his home. While Lindsay offers a calm apology for the chaos caused by his training, the man aggressively demands excessive compensation for his supposed mental distress. The man demands 30 yuan within 3 days, threatening Lindsay while his monster looms behind him. Just as the creature launches a surprise attack, a red-haired stranger suddenly intervenes, catching the strike mid-air to save the day. Terrified by the sheer power radiating from Lindsay's pets, the neighbor drops his demands, quickly accepting the initial apology and a modest offer of compensation. Dismissing the incident as a trivial nuisance, Lindsay maintains his icy composure as the cowed man retreats into the hallway. He remains vigilant throughout the night, keeping a close watch over his resting companions to ensure their continued growth. The next morning, a call from Guanning pulls him from his focus, reminding him that the Jiangning Imperial Beast Academy entrance exam begins today. Lindsay arrives at the school gate, where Guanning and the other students immediately voice their annoyance at his uncharacteristic tardiness. Guanning playfully punches him for oversleeping, unimpressed by his previous triumphs in the superior grade qualification assessment. Complaining of exhaustion, Lindsay deflects the teasing and asks if she has been diligently practicing her own spirit techniques. Their teacher gathers the elites of Pinghai No. 1 Middle School, warning them that this entrance exam will prove exceptionally grueling. Though he is urged to become the school's primary hope, Lindsay keeps his own counsel. Guanning confronts Lindsay for ignoring her messages, prompting him to admit that his rigorous training and mission obligations left him no time to check in. She excitedly shares that her magic bird has evolved successfully, a breakthrough that Lindsay acknowledges will significantly bolster her performance during the upcoming examination. Despite her enthusiasm, his focus remains unshakable as he inwardly vows to track down the individual responsible for his parents' murder. Guanning pauses to admire the sprawling beauty of Jiangning City, leading to a fleeting, blushing moment between the two when she reaches out to touch his face. Arriving at the gates of the Jiangning Imperial Beast Academy, Lindsay marvels at the grand palace architecture and visualizes his future studies within its walls. He clears a path for the dense crowd just as 17 students from Kinping High School march in to report for the assessment. Close behind, candidates from Kansia No. 3 Middle School arrive at the registration desk to finalize their entry. 2 students from Pinghai No. 1 Middle School finally check in, their appearance met with cheers from classmates supporting their respective leaders. A silver-haired student sneers at the Pinghai group, branding them hillbillies, completely oblivious to the fact that Lindsay is currently testing his strength against a nearby statue. Instructor Qin He steps forward to introduce himself, warning the assembly that this academy exam possesses an 80% elimination rate, far surpassing the difficulty of the previous trial. While the candidates murmur in anxiety, an arrogant student mocks the Pinghai No. 1 contingent, loudly declaring that none of them possess the skill to pass. Guo Xinyi remains silent, her gaze sweeping across the gathering as she senses a singular student radiating an unfathomable level of power. She whispers to her companion about the mysterious individual, asking if he seems strange. Lindsay stands ready, his presence projecting such intensity that Xinyi cannot help but remark on the immense hidden strength he conceals. Nearby, rival students remain dismissive of Pinghai No. 1, convinced that their own superior standing guarantees them a spot at the academy. Shenhe directs the group toward the academy hotel for rest and refreshments, prompting an excited Guanning to pull Lindsay toward the canteen. Inside the bustling academy canteen, the pair takes a seat while nearby candidates from Kinping High School ogle the female students, whispering gossip about their beauty. Lindsay remains focused on his meal, though Guanning nudges him to eat more, reminding him that he needs to maintain his strength for the upcoming exam. Their quiet moment is interrupted when two classmates approach, teasing them for appearing like a couple and leaving Guanning visibly flustered as she defends herself. Observing the scene from a distance, a vain orange-haired candidate watches with intense jealousy, bitter that Lin Zi is drawing so much attention from the girls. A student named Zhou Zhang soon strolls over to their table, offering food while introducing himself as a competitor from Qinping High School. He begins probing for information, asking if the mysterious student from Pinghai City who cleared the superior difficulty exam has finally arrived at the academy. Guanning grows suspicious of his motives, but Zhou Shang claims he only wants to gather intelligence to help his peers, citing his own knack for information gathering. She tells him to leave, but he insists he knows the abilities of every candidate. He soon identifies the leader of his school, Li Pengyun, a wealthy genius who recently contracted a rank 3 poison ivy monster, leaving the surrounding students stunned. Lin Zi silently evaluates the power gap, noting that his own magic bird is only at rank 2, stage 7, which heightens his awareness of the stiff competition. Shifting his focus, Zhou Xiang mentions Gua Xinyi from Changsha City, a girl who reached rank 2, stage 8 with a steel-patterned young dragon in just half a year. Listening intently, Lin Zi contemplates how superior spirit power allows elite candidates to contract significantly stronger beasts right from the start. The group gasps in shock when Zhou Shang brings up Tan Yang, a candidate rumored to possess a rare and dangerous dual-element pet beast. Lin Zi considers his own rock ghost, which combines both ghost and rock types, and realizes that further developing its dual attribute potential is a viable path forward. When asked directly about the identity of the superior difficulty challenger, Lin Zi says nothing and continues eating, choosing not to reveal that he is the one they are searching for. Zhou Xiang eventually walks away, clearly suspicious that the high-level candidate is hiding in plain sight, while other observers begin plotting to test the most suspicious individuals later. Guanning quietly asks why he keeps his achievement hidden, but he explains that maintaining a low profile is essential to avoid being targeted before the real trials begin. Back in the halls, Ning urges the team to train together to outshine the rival schools, and when she suggests they share a room for safety, Z agrees that a united front offers the best chance to survive the coming trials. His composure falters while scouting the area when he spots 3 women in swimwear. In a moment of confusion, he delivers a startling slap to a woman's rear, leaving his companions stunned. 3 men demand to join their room, while the blue-haired bully mocks them as his group laughs. Seeing a menacing figure loom over Ning, she warns Z that fighting here will only lead to disqualification, pleading with him to ignore the provocation. The gray-haired aggressor sneers that the Pinghai students are just softies, but Z ignores the warnings and silences the man with a single powerful punch. When a second challenger steps up, Z projects a fierce red aura, warning that bullying his sister has consequences. As his opponent collapses, he demands an immediate competition to settle the score. Energy crackles in the air until Li Pengyun intervenes, noting the force of the blow and suggesting the matter is settled, though Z maintains it is far from over as a man in a trench coat vows to handle him later. Enveloped in a blue aura, Z reflects on the brief clash before bidding the group farewell, fully aware that the true challenge of the exam remains ahead. As he walks away, a shadowed figure grins, realizing he has found his target. Meanwhile, the girls bathe together, complaining about the cramped conditions, while thanking Z for his training, celebrating that their pets have reached the 2nd level to improve their odds, despite their playful teasing. The group gathers in the hall before the monolith, bracing for the start of the exam. Standing before the monolith, the group watches as a lab-coated instructor delivers a scathing critique, bluntly dismissing the gathered candidates as the worst batch he has ever seen. Guanning recoils in shock at the harsh assessment, while nearby students exchange heated threats, vowing that their rivals will face dire consequences once the exam commences. The instructor clarifies the stakes, announcing the secret forest exam trial set within a complex illusion where candidates observe monsters hunting through a projection portal. He outlines the mechanics, explaining that scores are tracked on their wrists, with point values scaled by rank, 10 for rank 1, 20 for rank 2, and 40 for rank 3. Realizing that death within the simulation results in immediate elimination, the students grow pale as he warns that rank 3 beasts roam the forest and a central tablet broadcasts the top 10 rankings. He reveals the rule: winners take all points from eliminated rivals, turning the exam into a slaughter. Horrified by the kill or be killed mandate, desperate groups immediately begin whispering, plotting to form alliances and hunt students from rival schools to secure their spots in the top 10. The instructor offers an exit to anyone fearful of the coming brutality, promising that the first-place finisher will be crowned freshman leader and granted significant status. Determined to survive, Guanning resolves to reunite with Lin Zhou for support, while he quietly instructs his companion to use her flying beast to locate him the moment they enter. As the candidates settle into meditation, the instructor initiates the sequence, pulling Lin Zhe into the depths of the illusionary secret forest. Manifesting within the dense greenery, he checks his wrist interface to find a 4-hour countdown and a starting score of 0. He quickly deduces that the central stone tablet is a tactical trap, knowing that broadcasting coordinates while farming points will only invite hostile sieges from other players. Shrugging off the surrounding anxiety, he decides that his own strength is the only law that matters. Fully aware that in this forest, the strong claim the points while the weak are stripped bare. Keeping his spirit guardian active for protection, he barely has time to scan the terrain before a two-headed forest python lunges, forcing him into an immediate skirmish. He summons his rock ghost to handle the engagement, choosing to keep his snow maiden in reserve to test the beast's potential. Convinced that developing his dual attribute mastery is the key to his rise, facing the coiled snake, he squares his shoulders to fight and begin his climb. Lin Zhe realizes hunting low-rank monsters is inefficient, so he chooses to challenge stronger beasts. While he focuses on the hunt, he remains concerned for Guanning, who currently navigates the secret forest atop her magic flamebird with 30 points to her name and less than 4 hours left on the clock. Guanning searches for her cousin, unaware Lin Zhe is observing a snail while his pet watches from the shadows. Suddenly, her search is interrupted by a fierce ambush. As she struggles to navigate the dense foliage, a golden creature lunges from the brush, forcing her to command her bird to fight for survival. She manages to defeat the rank 2, stage 5 golden-backed ostrich to claim 20 points, but her victory is immediately shattered by a nearby explosion and the arrival of an opportunist wielding an Odo barbarian, a rank 2, stage 4 humanoid beast. The man mocks her, openly declaring his intent to steal her hard-earned points, and commands his humanoid pet to strike, forcing her to narrowly dodge a blow from his golden weapon. He boasts that his pet's superior intelligence allows it to act with tactical autonomy, and as the Odo barbarian grips her bird by the throat, he prepares to eliminate her now that her total has climbed to 40. High above the chaos, a mysterious individual continues to track their movements, observing the entire confrontation through hidden surveillance feeds. Nearby, a knight examines a fallen pig, prompting Lin Zhe to navigate the forest where he spots a rank 2, stage 4 giant-clawed monkey and a rank 2 big-mouth monster. As he treks through the field, a howl rings out, signaling the creature's latest point gain, necessary sacrifice to sustain its climb through the hierarchy. Zhou Sheng suddenly appears, flaunting his 60 points with a sneer, and Lin Zhe instantly recognizes him from their tense meeting in the cafeteria. Deciding to manipulate the situation, Lin Zhe masks his true identity, feigning wide-eyed admiration for the rare beast trailing behind his rival. While Zhou and his companion plot to hunt down the student who cleared the superior difficulty trial, Lin Zhe dismisses his own pet as an ordinary D-grade creature to deflect their suspicion. Boasting of his pet's rarity, Zhou displays his rank 2, stage 7 big mouth monster and offers to help Lin Zhe farm points so they can both secure a spot in the top 10. Lin Zhe agrees to the partnership, though he remains acutely aware that Zhou privately intends to betray and eliminate him the moment his utility runs out. A man on the ground curses in frustration, his anger turning to sudden terror as he realizes the same group that struck earlier is stalking him again. A blonde girl with a menacing aura enters the fray, her body surging with magical fire and demonic energy as she manifests a shadowy entity while Lin Zhe braces for impact. The appearance of a mystical flaming creature sends the beast-like humanoid into a panicked flight, forcing it to scramble deep into the woods to escape. Stomping on the defeated man, the girl scolds him for his pet's lack of discipline and ignores his desperate pleas before seizing his points, bringing her total to 70. Lin Zhe resolves to keep his distance from these lethal rivals, unaware that the examiner is currently tracking the leaderboard, which shows Li Penyun and Guo Xinye already surging past 100 points. He ventures deeper into the surreal forest, where he encounters a rank 3 spotted tiger and a rank 3 poison ivy demon, forcing him to engage these powerful threats as the environment itself turns against him. The spotted tiger lunges with predatory intent, only to be met by a leopard-like beast that strikes the floating entity with a sharp concussive impact. As the tiger bites into the encroaching vines, a man in a white coat confronts a mutated, tentacled orange beast blocking his path. He urges his poison ivy demon to stop wasting time and press forward, demanding to know if the creature understands the urgency. A wolf-like beast readies an attack, but a small creature strikes first and stands over the fallen predator. A tentacled monster attacks Lin Zi, but he claims the points after his beast defeats it. A green-haired youth smiles mischievously at the carnage, already claiming the top freshman position as his own. Li Penjun eyes the leaderboard, questioning why his companion has 0 points despite having surrendered all the beasts they hunted along the way. They plot to track down specific participants for their points, though they decide it is still too early to challenge Penyun's lead. Targeting Lu Gang next, a girl wonders why she cannot recall Lin Zai's name, dismissively assuming he must have cheated to build his reputation. The duo shifts their hunt toward the east, where another girl discovers a flaming bird and warns it of the surrounding man-eating plants and mantises. Guan Ning continues to search the dense foliage for her cousin, while other candidates press deeper into the forest to hunt. A nearby candidate spots a rank 2 withered beast and plots to swoop in, hoping to steal the finishing strike to claim the points for himself. The warrior prepares a powerful slash, but Lin Zai's mysterious rock creature intercepts him, leaving the plotters stunned by the sheer display of force. As the candidate screams in disbelief at the one-hit knockout, observers watch the leaderboard, noting that Lin Zai has climbed into the top 10 at rank 9. Realizing Lin Zai is working with a partner, Zhou Xiang complains about being left with no points, prompting Lin Zai to promise him the next kill. Zhou Xiang sneers at the prospect of a shared kill, his eyes narrowing with a hidden malice as he vows to seize Lin Zai's entire stockpile for himself. Suddenly, a system ping cuts through the tension, alerting Lin Zai to the presence of a rare, high-value beast nearby that could skyrocket his current standing. They push through the brush into a clearing dominated by a golden tree. Leaping toward the canopy in hopes of securing bonus points, Lin Zai is forced to pivot mid-air, barely dodging the lethal, razor-sharp tendrils whipping out from the hostile environment. Golden appendages lash out and drag him into the air, where he realizes with a jolt of shock that he has blundered straight into the heart of a rank 3, stage 9 withered golden beast. Suspended in the air and bound tight, he feels his spiritual energy being siphoned away by the plant-type monster and shouts for his companion to intervene. He reminds the panicked Zhou Xiang that this kill was supposed to be his, but the man only pleads for an immediate alliance to survive the creature's overwhelming reach. Toying with the desperate man, Lin Zai refuses to lift a finger until he is guaranteed valuable intelligence in exchange for the rescue. The captive trader quickly agrees to divulge the secret soul techniques used by his rivals, begging his rescuer to act before his energy reserves are completely depleted. Lin Zai notes the value of soul techniques and orders his rock ghost to target the beast's abdomen. The stone creature lunges forward with a barrage of heavy strikes, though the golden entity retaliates with sweeping energy waves that threaten to pulverize them both. Realizing his rank 2, stage 9 beast is struggling to break the monster's ironclad grip, he prepares to secretly deploy his snow maiden to deliver the finishing blow. The beast tightens its hold, taunting the trapped rock ghost, while Lin Zai watches from the periphery, his gaze cold and focused on the intent to kill. As the surrounding onlookers panic at the rapid energy drain, he readies his full power, a spectral red entity manifesting behind him to signal his intent. He checks the trial clock and the rising elimination count, unaware that a mysterious observer is watching from the shadows, questioning the true extent of the strength hidden within the boy who cleared the superior difficulty. The golden tentacles wither away only for a destructive vortex of dark energy to manifest before Lin Zai's eyes. He unleashes his shadow power, unlocking the ghost form skill which grants him 30 seconds of intangibility. As a mysterious coil ensnares a bystander, Lin Zai notes how his dual attributes provide unique tactical advantages while testing the strength of his new form. The tree creature roars and strikes with roots, but he maneuvers through the assault. Because the rock ghost in ghost form lacks a physical body and ignores all control effects, Lin Zai orders it to strike the tree's eyes and stomach. He activates his dark aura and destroys the tree creature with a series of impacts. Despite the victory, the beast remains, and a panicked Zhou Xiang drags Lin Zai away to prevent him from dying and losing his hard-earned points. Lin Zai calls upon the Snow Maiden, shielding her as they prepare to finish the battle. She unleashes a freezing blizzard, her ice vortexes trapping the golden creature within layers of frost. He summons the rock ghost to strike, shattering the ice with a powerful impact. Refusing to let up, Lin Zai chains his attacks to pelt the monster with relentless energy beams as the fight reaches its climax. He delivers a final powerful spirit impact, causing the creature's golden structure to melt into the ground. He spends points to learn the clone technique, knowing it is vital for his king-class evolution. With 180 points secured and only 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, Lin Zai prepares for the final stretch. The observer in the white coat watches in disbelief, realizing that his ice pet possesses god-level potential. Lin Zi notes that killing a rank-free beast grants 60 points, but his thoughts are interrupted as others discover the remains of the golden withered beast. Observers stare in disbelief, demanding to know the identity of the mysterious girl who just appeared and wondering if she represents a rival school. Lin Zi realizes he failed to recall his snow maiden and can no longer hide his presence, especially as a humanoid ice beast lingers nearby. Onlookers recognize the Snow Maiden as the entity that defeated the Golden Beast, and they panic as her ice energy radiates through the forest. The men fear Lin Zi is lurking close by to finish them off, though he watches the unfolding chaos with unimpressed detachment. The Snow Maiden commands the nearby figures to attack, leaving them bewildered before she unleashes a lethal ice shower upon the group. They scramble for cover under the barrage of projectiles, with one man crying out in despair as he believes his end has arrived. Lin Zi prepares to unleash his own power, channeling the energy of his inner spirit to maintain his tactical dominance over the situation. One man decides to sacrifice his companion to ensure his own survival, while a pink creature nearby watches, having swallowed the man earlier to protect him. The survivors retreat to catch their breath, one man feeling relieved to have escaped the encounter while still retaining his points. Lin Zi remains calm, having slipped away from the chase with his score intact, and relaxes with his arms behind his head while others wonder how he survived being swallowed. The man carrying the creature recoils in shock when Lin Zi suddenly emerges, unable to fathom how he remains unharmed after such an ordeal. Lin Zi flippantly suggests he has bad digestion, while the other man foolishly proposes they team up, entirely unaware of the gap in their power. Seeking the intelligence he was promised, Lin Zi asks about exclusive spirit techniques, learning that such abilities depend on a master's innate constitution. He probes for details on the techniques used by Li Penyun and Guo Xinyai before turning toward the stone monument, where he sees his name at 5th place. The man in the beanie realizes his own name has dropped from the rankings and plots to steal Lin Zi's points to reclaim a top 10 spot. The man approaches, then freezes in terror at Lin Zi's score of 180. The beanie-wearing candidate staggers back, visibly shaken that Lin Zi is now dictating his every movement. He suddenly recalls the rumors that clearing the superior difficulty trial grants the ability to hold 2 beast contracts, realizing he has been walking into a trap set by a hidden powerhouse. Demanding the promised intelligence in exchange for his life, Lin Zi looms over the man, who stubbornly refuses to speak. With a sharp gesture, Lin Zi commands his companion to crush the man's resolve, the resulting strike echoing across the forest floor. A spectral, magical hand materializes in the air as Lin Zi prepares to exert his icy control over the situation. Cornered by the presence of a rare rank 3 beast, the man collapses in terror, frantically agreeing to divulge everything he knows. Lin Zi scoffs at the man's amateurish spirit techniques, his overwhelming aura making it clear that such secrets are worthless to him. He orders the Snow Maiden to use Ice Shower, striking the target instantly. Summoning his demonic entity, Lin Zi turns to face a horned man who crawls toward him, writhing in agony. A long-haired rival and his plant creature block the path, while a frantic henchman warns his master about the sheer lethality of the Snow Maiden. Lin Zi watches as the boss callously drains the henchman's points, the man laughing through his pain as if the loss were a mere trifle. A plant-based being erupts from the earth as Lin Zi holds 5th place with 188 points. The rival points a finger at him, goading Lin Zi to stop hiding his true power and prove who among them is the superior beginner. Lin Zi dismisses the challenge, causing his opponent to mock his perceived cowardice. The antagonist vows to hunt down and eliminate the top-ranked contenders, including Guo Xinyi, Tan Yong, and Guan Ning, claiming the slaughter of his peers is a thrill he cannot resist. Hearing his companion's name, Lin Zi's expression darkens as he turns and sprints toward the east to intercept the threat. The rival mocks his retreat, snapping his fingers to order a shadowy creature to block the path. Lin Zi tears free from the vines and calls his captor a hollow clown. As the summoner forces his Wind Demon to drain Lin Zi's energy, the young Beastmaster's patience finally snaps. He encases the enemy in ice and launches the Snow Maiden into an aerial strike. The Snow Maiden strikes, but a red-haired armored figure shatters her ice barrier to intercept the attack. Ignoring the interference, Lin Zi warns that he has no time for games and pushes forward through the forest with his companion. While his opponent remains frozen in place, vine-like appendages slither through the grass near a shattered tree trunk. Lu Gang observes a regenerating creature and realizes someone failed to finish it off. Presenting him with a golden opportunity, Lin Zi confronts a frozen Li Penyun, intending to seize his points as an iron-armored dragon. A rank 2 stage 9 beast suddenly erupts into the fray. Dashing toward Penyun, He taunts the beast about its mortality before ordering the immediate capture of its master. The blonde man celebrates what he believes is a victory, yet his confusion mounts when his point total refuses to rise, sensing a strange presence in the woods. Liu Gang lunges forward at high speed, prompting the blonde man to grab him and demand an explanation, only to be told he has already been eliminated. As the opponent activates a mimicry synchronization to command his dragon, a vine creature suddenly emerges to pin the beast down. The vines dissipate as Lindsay channels his power, a demonic entity manifesting behind him to prepare for the next phase of the battle. He tracks Guo Xinyi and Tan Yong, vowing to save Guanning as he lunges forward. The team clashes in the dense thicket, where he identifies a rank 2 stage 8 steel-scaled young dragon wreathed in purple flames. Guanning struggles within a water prison, which the enemy identifies as an inescapable rank 3 stage 2 necromancer technique. The attacker instructs his minion to drain her points, teasing her until she questions his motives, leading the group to wait for a larger target. She anticipates her trap, but when an earth spike erupts, the man conjures a water shield to protect her from the impact. As the creature claws the ground, a character watches over a fallen companion, realizing the fight has reached its inevitable conclusion. Lindsay confronts the group, revealing both his pet beasts as he stands protectively before Guanning. Though Guanning warns him of the enemy's immense strength, he assures her that he will rescue her immediately. The pink-haired woman recognizes Lindsay as the genius who conquered the superior difficulty test, prompting her muscular ally to challenge him for the top rank. When the man orders his necromancer to ensnare him in a water prison, Lindsay shatters the construct with a sudden, forceful soul force impact that leaves his attackers reeling. As the man attempts to corner him, Lindsay retaliates with a kinetic surge, forcing his foes to double down by weaving a second, more restrictive water barrier. He immediately shifts into his ghost spirit form to bypass the seal, revealing that his opponent's necromancer relies on a ghost-type spirit that remains susceptible to physical strikes. Panic sets in for the pink-haired girl as his shadow clones slip past their defensive perimeter, proving that their magical barriers cannot stop his direct physical assault. Desperate to regain control, the man commands his team to trigger the Death Spirit seal. But Lindsay keeps the pressure mounting by ordering his shadows to swarm them. He calls upon the Snow Maiden to join the fray, instantly silencing the man's taunts as she prepares to unleash an overwhelming display of frost power. Realizing they are completely outmatched, the girl and her ally understand that continuing this fight will lead to their certain elimination. Terrified by the looming threat, she calls for an immediate truce, arguing that since they have already secured their spots in the top 10, they should end the conflict to preserve their futures as classmates. Although Tan Yong worries that sparing them is a tactical error, he relents and cancels the water prison spell at her insistence. The barrier dissipates, allowing Guanning to break free, and Lindsay immediately steps to her side, promising that no one will dare threaten her while he stands in their way. He ultimately rejects the truce, warning his opponents that he can ensure Guanning's safety while still eliminating them, and offers a cold apology before resuming his relentless attack. Enraged, the man vows to go all out, ordering Guo Xinyi to launch the first strike. Xinyi recoils in shock when Lindsay claims to possess exactly what she desires. She offers to help him unlock his unique ability through her own spirit technique, a proposal the group weighs with interest. A muscular teammate questions her decision to assist him, horrified by her willingness to share such power. Someone calls out urgently for Lindsay, and a new arrival joins the discussion, hoping to coordinate their next move. Navigating the dense forest, the group is stunned to encounter a figure they had previously presumed dead. The silver-haired man gathers them in the forest, announcing that he will kill everyone at once. The enraged fighter grows increasingly annoyed by the gathering crowd, while others suggest an alliance is their only hope for first place. Lindsay observes the chaotic standoff, unaware that the instructor is monitoring their every move through the portal, fearing for their safety. Fearing a massacre, the instructor orders a group of second-year students to intervene and quell the violence within 10 minutes. Lindsay acknowledges the sudden intrusion, while a man demands to know why Xinyi wants to help him, revealing his own surprise at her interest in the boy. She apologizes for the friction, but insists on aiding Lindsay, leaving the man stunned by her obvious infatuation. Lindsay stands his ground, boldly challenging all his opponents to attack him simultaneously. Suddenly, a man frantically commands the combatants to stop, announcing that the exam has concluded and they have all been accepted. The candidates are then informed of a special challenge mission where they must spar against 4 mid-tier second-year students to prove their potential. Though told that victory grants a coveted baptism, Xinyi immediately protests the blatant unfairness of forcing them to fight veterans. While the group frets over their exhausted beasts, Lindsay remains unfazed, confidently inviting the second years to make their move. One of the seniors laments that he cannot eliminate them yet, declaring that since they are now future classmates, they must pass this trial first. Junyi turns to Lin Zai, asking with flushed cheeks if they are officially allies now. Guanning objects to the sentiment, pointedly noting that Lin Zi has not actually agreed to any such partnership. Ignoring the bickering, Lin Zai focuses on controlling his red spirit, determined to secure the baptism reward for the boost it provides to his physical and soul power. The group realizes they outnumber their opponents, yet Shinya expresses her firm desire to remain with Lin Zi rather than team up with others. Lin Zi encourages Guan Ning to pair with Shinya instead, arguing that it will improve their overall chances of winning. Shay Tao steps forward to challenge the newcomers, offering to face them either individually or as a collective group. A man immediately steps up to accept the challenge, eager to demonstrate his prowess in front of Xinyi. Xia Cao smirks at the man's bravado, acknowledging his guts as he begins to channel energy for his opening attack. Xia Tao's wind-slicing mantis, a rank 3 stage 8 insect, lunges forward, but he warns his opponent against charging recklessly since the beast's survival depends on precision. Zhang Man, the pink-haired maid, steps up to challenge the silver-haired senior, who laughs and vows to show her no mercy regardless of her gender. As she attacks, a rank 3 thunder lion appears, prompting her to smile and say, "Fine." She scans the group and singles out the weaker girl, saying, "Among the two left, that girl is relatively weak." A candidate with a pompadour tries to interject, but Wu Zetian snaps that his absurd hairstyle is an irritation she cannot ignore. While another nervous candidate begs his senior to go easy on him, a dark-haired man watches the unfolding exchange with a calm, serene smile. Hui Hui, fueled by jealousy, scolds the new female students for their appearance and declares she will not hold back her power in their upcoming duel. Shock ripples through the hall as the reality of elimination sinks in. Xiaoyun comforts a weeping girl who laments that the high number of geniuses made her failure inevitable. Nearby, a blonde candidate feels the sting of defeat despite his cautious play, while an observer notes that only a select few individuals truly stood out today. Gao Wenbai places a hand on a colleague's shoulder, stepping forward to take responsibility for the remaining test candidates. A teacher confronts him for poaching students he worked hard to recruit, but Gao Wenbai argues that extreme testing methods overlook raw talent and he intends to fill his 10 empty slots. Announcing these 10 new opportunities for the failures, he sparks sudden hope among the students who believe a miracle has occurred. One desperate candidate resolves to seize this second chance while a powerful green tornado erupts across the training field. Lin Zi curses the power gap, but Zhang Man warns him, "Your endurance is amazing, but you have already lost." A horned berserker humanoid, rank 3, stage 7, roars in the distance while instructors mock the students for focusing on their looks over their training. Gao Wenbai challenges Qin's harsh methods, but the teacher defends his suppression of their spirits, fearing the students will become too arrogant if left unchecked. Pointing toward a mysterious figure resisting their methods, Gao Wenbai leaves the intruder to demand his identity as a blazing warhorse appears. The senior stares at the snow maiden in shock, shouting, "This is impossible!" Forced into this high-stakes deal, Lin Zi stands his ground as his opponent summons a mystical blue creature, signaling that the sparring match has escalated. The snow maiden cheers, "I won!" While Lin Zi moves to unleash his full power, he assures his companion that his secrets will remain safe for now. And as the time limit expires, he silently rejoices over the hard-won profit secured from the trial. Onlookers whisper in awe, remarking that watching his performance is akin to witnessing the legendary 8 prodigies of the Federation in their prime. Teacher Gao excitedly demands that Lin Zi be assigned to his class, drawing sharp protests from others who argue that official placement rules must be strictly followed. Lin Zi watches as his opponent struggles to accept his loss, stammering, I lost." Guan Ning cheers for his victory, while Zhang Man watches in stunned silence, clearly overwhelmed by the sheer strength he displayed during the clash. The defeated senior vows to channel this frustration into future motivation, even as nearby students whisper in disbelief that a freshman has successfully humbled a second year. Lin Zi confidently taunts the 3 remaining seniors, asking if they intend to attack simultaneously, despite their bitter accusations that he relied on cheap tricks. They launch an aggressive aerial assault, but he counters with a surprise strike, engaging in a fierce battle against their giant mantis creature. Observers in the hall note that Xie Tao was clearly outmatched from the start, agreeing that the freshman's dominance is causing the second years to lose face. Teacher Ken officially concludes the trial, announcing that Lin Zi is the sole student to pass, which prompts the furious senior to swear a rematch upon enrollment. Ignoring the senior's vow of vengeance, Lin Zi offers a calm taunt to prevent further escalation. though the senior declares he will never forget this humiliation. He walks across the field with his companions, focusing on the upcoming reward for successfully completing the baptism. The system confirms his constitution and soul power have surged, officially clearing his entry into Zhongning Academy while granting him 500 achievement points. Crowds stare in amazement at the freshman's return, while he reflects on how the intensity of the fight mirrored the familiar pressure of the superior difficulty level. A mysterious character approaches to inform him that his rot ghost possesses an unopened form, offering to teach him an exclusive soul technique if he visits her after the exam. The instructor announces the admission of the top 10 candidates, but as he prepares to name the top freshman, the crowd instinctively turns their applause toward Li Pengyun. Applause dies away, leaving the candidates to stare at the freshman rankings in stunned, disbelieving silence. Rivals seethe with bitterness and humiliation, openly questioning the integrity of the ranking system after witnessing an underdog outperform them. Ignoring the murmurs, the instructor dismisses the top 10 to prepare for the ceremony, reminding the gathered students that their scores remain the only metric for success. Lindsay realizes the path ahead is still long, even as others encourage their peers to push for success in the upcoming resurrection trial. As the crowd disperses, an acquaintance who witnessed his ring performance approaches, eager to make contact. The student admits his intelligence on Lindsay was lacking, then eagerly begs to become his underling after witnessing such overwhelming power. Lindsay flatly rejects the plea, dismissively noting that the student has not even secured his official enrollment yet. Running off with a desperate vow to succeed, the student vanishes while others celebrate their hard-won status as official Zhongning Academy freshmen. Exhausted, they decide to stay in the city, with the girl suggesting, "Let's go back tomorrow." Lindsay agrees to the plan, though his focus shifts inward to the hidden, volatile power he must continue to manage. His confidence wavers immediately upon checking his bank balance. After exhausting his funds on materials for his rock ghost, he finds himself nearly penniless. Guanning insists they get food, leading him to an upscale restaurant that permits beasts to dine alongside their masters. She convinces a reluctant Lindsay to summon their companions, arguing that they deserve a reward after fighting all day. An observer nearby marvels at how quickly his beast has evolved, prompting Lindsay to reflect on the secret of his system, which he plans to explain to her later. Guanning eagerly eyes the menu, but he breaks into a cold sweat upon seeing the exorbitant prices of the luxury dishes. She orders a feast, telling the waiter, "I'll take this, this, and this one too." As the bill arrives, a sudden flash of light erupts and a system notification confirms Line Z has acquired the fire resistance skill. The dark-skinned character lets out a satisfied burp, having finished the meal alongside the rest of the group gathered at the table. Panic washes over Lindsay at the sight of the 37,000 yuan bill, but Guanning offers to cover the cost with her secret savings, relieving his stress. An acquaintance mentions that the Academy's special entrance exam differs from the norm, and later, Guanning admires the city skyline, eager to begin their studies. Still worried about his depleted finances, Lindsay realizes that seeking mission work might be too late to secure the funds he needs for his next evolution. They arrive at the Death Ring, where a four-armed freak mocks a defeated Titan kangaroo, flaunting its superior strength to the crowd. Recognizing the creature as a rank 3, stage 2 threat, Lindsay decides to enter the ring to claim the 50,000 yuan prize. The ringmaster warns that only hand-to-hand combat is permitted and demands a signed death waiver, prompting Guanning to question if he truly intends to participate. Determined to secure the easy money, he decides to show no mercy, especially since his system confirms the opponent is only rank 3, stage 1. He upgrades his rock ghost to rank 3, stage 3, noting with frustration that the achievement point cost rises significantly with each level. Guanning expresses shock at the creature's sudden growth, while his companions cheer for him, confident in his ability to win the match. The announcer introduces him, though the crowd remains skeptical, mocking the scrawny boy and his strange pet for daring to step into the death ring. Laughter ripples through the onlookers at their appearance, completely unaware that the red-haired creature is already satisfied and primed for the fight.